Hey everyone, it's Zach back with a new mortgage video. Hope you all had a happy weekend. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, where I'll try to demystify all things mortgage related. If you find this content helpful, please like and subscribe. So on today's Monday market update, I wanted to talk about why this week is kind of a unique and pivotal week, I think, for mortgage rates, and how we're likely to end this year in terms of mortgage rates, whether that's up or down relative to where we're at now. So last Wednesday, we had the end of the government shutdown. And with that, we should be getting a lot of these delayed reports coming in. A report that I would say is the most pivotal right now for mortgage rates, the BLS jobs report, that was initially said to not be coming in at all. The most recent edition, the October version. There's been a couple conflicting reports. It sounds like the October version is going to come in for non-farm payrolls. They're just not going to have unemployment rate for that copy, which I don't think that's a big deal because unemployment rate has been pretty stable and that hasn't been moving the needle as much as the non-farm payrolls piece of that report. So for both September and October, this has been the most important report since the passing of the tariffs in April. Typically, we get this report once a month. We're about to be getting this, most likely, 3 editions in about a 2-week span, with whenever these 2 reports come in this week, and then December 5th will be the next regularly scheduled one coming out. So if these 2 reports and the December report paint a consistent message one way or the other, that's going to lead to movement in mortgage rates depending on what it says. Now, the reports that have been released during the government shutdown have generally been showing a continuing weak job market. And the last few jobs reports that we got before the shutdown were also showing that. So if we continue to see that trend, if we see certainly negative job growth from the non-farm payrolls report, or even like very low positive figures, I would expect that'll be a good thing for mortgage rates. But conversely, if we see that number start to rise, then that would be a negative. Now, right now, another part of why we're at a pivotal juncture for mortgage rates is we are at a point where it's about a 50-50 proposition, according to the markets, places like the CME Group, for what the Fed's going to do in December. About a month ago, like really leading up to the last Fed rate decision, markets are pricing in like a 90+ chance of a rate cut in December. And that has swung dramatically since the Fed rate cut, where Jerome Powell basically intentionally threw a bunch of cold water on the notion that we're going to for sure see a rate cut in December, saying things like, when you're driving in the fog, what do? You slow down, suggesting they would pause rates if the government shutdown was still going at that point. Now, obviously, the shutdown is over. However, what these 3 reports, these 3 job reports say is, in my opinion, going to be the most impactful for both mortgage rates and whether the Fed chooses to cut or pause. And if we swing back to where the markets are expecting a rate cut, that would be a good sign for mortgage rates and vice versa. Beyond the rate decision itself, some of the dissenting opinions within the Fed is interesting to me and worth diving into a little deeper. I'll probably wait till we're a little closer to the next Fed rate decision to talk about that. But again, this week, very unique week. I think this is the first time in U.S. history we've ever had 2 job reports delayed and coming out at the same time, basically. And this is at a unique moment when this particular report seems to have outsized impact relative to the rest of the data. Inflation specifically hasn't really mattered that much. It'll be an interesting week, to say the least. If you have any questions or comments, shoot them below, or feel free to call, text, or email me. But thanks for tuning into this video, and I will see you next time.